Second.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make sure that I mute the sound on there. Second. All right. So are you already in the room?
I'm waiting for the dialogue box to pop up.
Okay. Well, while you waiting on the dialogue box to pop up, I am going to go ahead and introduce us real quick and say, all right, welcome to Money Mondays. We are now on YouTube. Normally I would do an IG Live, but this is my first time on YouTube, and we are doing a makeup show from Monday. So happy Money Monday, and welcome to Money Mondays, where we talk about money and finance. Really try to break down some walls and some barriers when it comes to finance. Talk about some things that we don't typically talk about all the time. And so my first guest tonight is going to be Nick. Oh, by the way, my name is Astoria, and I go by Queen Astoria or Miss Story. You can find me on Instagram. That's normally where I live at. But now we will be doing IG Live. So this is like our little makeup show. So welcome to Money Mondays. We're just waiting for our guest to jump in real quick. While I am learning how to maneuver this whole new dynamic of things. It's very interesting. All right, so here we go. Hey.
Hey, what's good? What's good?
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Yay.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
my first time getting on YouTube Live.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right. Well, welcome to Money Mondays. And Nick, I already kind of introduced the show and what we'll be doing for tonight. So I just want you to introduce yourself. Talk about yourself for a second, do all your shameless plugs, and then we'll jump on in for the night.
Okay. Well, I guess the most immediate part of my introduction is that I am the business manager for DJ the Money Coach. I handle the day-to-day business operations, setting up, meetings, interviews, consultations. I'm also a host of a few of the DJ the Money Coach YouTube programs, Nick's Knowledge and Notions on Friday nights, A Story on Wednesdays, the DJ the Money Coach Expert interview series. So yeah, that pretty much encompasses my position on the DJ the Money Coach team. I started out as a client a little over a year ago, and towards the end of April, beginning of May, I came on as a private contractor to help DJ run the business, and that's how I met Astoria. Astoria knew DJ a lot longer than I have, for about eight years, I think it is, something like that.
We're going on 8 years.
So she's a DJ the Money Coach or Seven Spheres of Money member, as a client and as a partner with us, with doing our monthly webinars. So that's that. I'm also a high school humanities teacher here in Newark, New Jersey. So I've been doing that for about 6 years. And I'm also a student of numerology, which is going to be the topic of tonight's Money Monday show. So that's my introduction. I'll toss it back over to Astoria so she can formally introduce that topic.
Yes. So as Nick already said, we know each other through DJ the Money Coach, Seven Spheres of Money. So we both are on a financial journey. I would say I've probably been on mine a little bit longer. But that is the whole creation of the Money Mondays, is really taking out the financial advisor per se, or the person that is the expert at money, and make it be really simple and plain and easy for people to understand, and grab hold to what's happening, right? So, and then if you're interested in those things, I will put the links and everything in the bottom of in this description after we're done, and give you the info of how to get in contact with DJ the Money Coach, Seven Spheres of Money, and all of our social media links, those kinds of things. So, we'll just jump right in. We are talking numerology and finance tonight. The funny thing is, we really got into some good discussion um, Monday when we were talking, and Instagram Live just was not trying to be great, which was why we have made it to YouTube on Wednesday. But for those that don't understand what numerology is, right? Just give us a brief overview of numerology, and then we'll jump into the conversation.
Okay. So I would say most people know their sign or their sun sign in astrology. Most of you know if you're, I think it's Libra season right now. So if you're a Libra, a Capricorn like Astoria and I and DJ, a Pisces, a Gemini or whatever it may be. So most people are familiar with that, and we know that those signs tell us characteristics about us, about who we are, about our character traits. The science of numerology, which pretty much means the occult study or meaning of numbers, tells us similar information, based on just numbers alone. So the most immediate numbers being, the day of the month that you were born on, or your entire birth month, birthday, and birth year added up, or what your name adds up to, because every letter in the alphabet is associated with a number. So that's pretty much, in a simple definition of what numerology is. It tells you, character traits, information about you. It gives you insights about who you are, what you were here to learn, just based on numbers, based on the day that you were born on. So the day of the month that you were born on, and your name influences who you are, your natural talents and abilities, your career inclinations, what you came on this earth to learn, your relationship with money, which will be the main focus of tonight's conversation.
Right. Yeah. So I think that's super interesting, because I am not as into numerology as you are. I do like numbers and I do study numbers, but not as deeply. I'm more on the astrology side of things. And so, but I do have a couple of numbers that I deal with primarily. 7, I was born on a Saturday, which is the 7th day, and it is Saturn's day. So that is a wonderful number for me, a wonderful day for me, those things. And then 11, the number 11, it appears to me all the time. I actually have a tattoo on my arm that I didn't even realize added up to 11 until like later on in life. But it's 11. The numbers in it equal up to 11. And then I'm a life path 8. And so knowing those little bit of things about myself, I'm able to kind of like maneuver through certain things. I use that with astrology and with numerology kind of together. So I know that you're a life path 8 just like me.
Yep.
So how does that line up for us financially? Like what is the 8, when you think about money?
Right. Yeah, and before I go into the 8, I just also want to mention that astrology, there's this evidence that astrology has influence on finances as well. When I first got introduced to numerology, the first presentation that I went to in Brooklyn, New York, maybe about 6 years ago, the presenter and the person that first introduced me to numerology, one of my teachers, King Simon, he pointed out that a lot of a lot of successful people, business people, use astrology in order to make in order to time decisions. So I think one example he gave was Walt Disney. He said Walt Disney had an astrologer, and then I read an article about astrology, and there's a quote by J.P. Morgan about astrology. To paraphrase it, it says something like millionaires don't have astrologers, but billionaires do. You know, something. It was something to that effect. So that's what really clicked with me and got me interested in numerology. Because when I was in high school, my 10th grade science teacher said that astrology was pseudoscience. So I kind of so I held on to that mentality up until that moment in around 2014 when I went to that presentation. So going back to your question about the number 8, the number 8, just the general meaning of the number 8 is the authoritative number. So it's no surprise that we're on this financial journey, that you're an entrepreneur. I'm in the process. I have my entity structure. This is actually, working with DJ the Money Coach is actually one of my first, working for self endeavors here. So DJ actually hired my entity rather than me personally. But that's another conversation. If you tune into Money Mondays in previous broadcasts, you got an understanding of what that means. But going back to the number 8 is the authoritative number. So the number 8 is actually associated with power, with making money. And I'm actually going to read exactly what the number 8 says. What it said, and this is just a general meaning. This isn't even related to money. So just to skip down a little bit, it says you're basically serious-minded and philosophical in your approach to life. Your ambitious nature could lead to success in public life. You're not afraid to involve yourself in work or projects that require personal sacrifice. Of all the birth numbers, yours tends to be misunderstood. This may account for the loneliness and isolation you feel from time to time. Deep down, however, you are really warm and caring for others. So that's the general meaning. Now, that expresses the traits that you were born with. But as Astoria mentioned, the number 8 is our life path numbers, and your life path numbers pretty much tell us what we need to learn in order to be successful in life. So in order to be successful in life, we have to learn to be authoritative, determined, in control, successful, persevering, and a leader. So these are all traits that are associated with being, with being on this financial journey, with being an entrepreneur. The number 8 is associated with, if you have the number 8 in either your birthday or your name, that indicates that you have the potential to attract money.
Right.
And I know Astoria just asked about the number 8, but Astoria also has a strong connection to the number 11, which is 2 1s. And the ones lean towards leadership and business and entrepreneurship, because the number 1 wants to be in charge ahead of his or her life. The number 1 doesn't want to take orders or directions from anyone else. The number 1 wants to be in charge. So,
which is probably why I don't follow the rules very well.
Probably, yeah.
I always toggle the line of living in the rules, but kind of pushing the rules. So
yes, that's the one. Yes, that's the influence of those 1s and those 8s. And when you have those 1s together for the number 11, that match the number 11, and also the number 7 that you see all the time, those they'll pretty much touch on, in addition to the business entrepreneurial leadership side of you, it also touches on your highly spiritual side too, of you too, because the number 7 is a spiritual number, as well as the number 11. So that's a more indirect connection between the numbers and finances. So how you can take your personal traits and connect them to finances. So those 2 descriptions that I read with the life path and the general description of the number, those can give you insights into what type of careers you might pursue or might be more inclined to pursue. And of course, like I mentioned, being an entrepreneur or a business person is listed under the number 1 and the number 8.
Yeah, it's something in my eye. I don't know if it's my eyelash or what, but something's happening. Yeah, and I think that's really interesting, especially when we bring it back around to money, because when we think about numerology, you understand like that 8 and 11s are my numbers. So the way I make money or bring money into my energy, my atmosphere, and what I'm doing, right? The way I'm be able to create finances is through the positions and the roles in which I'm in. And a lot of times it's in a leadership role or in some type of management role. I've been a manager, those type of things. Those things are what bring forth money for me, but also the other entrepreneurial side. So when I tell people I call it a side hustle entrepreneur, right? Meaning I still work my corporate job, but I also do a lot of entrepreneurial things. Serial entrepreneur, have my hand in a lot of different things financially. And part of that is because it all intertwines together. For me, I don't leave the industry. I'm in the same industry. Everything that I'm doing is in the beauty industry. It's just an extension of the beauty industry. Whether that's teaching people how to make money within the industry, doing marketing things, showing virtual stuff, whatever it is, but it's all beauty, hair, education. And I use my numerology to help me manifest those things. Perfect example is I did a lot of times I do stuff strategically. So when I teach a class or when I am launching something, it's always on a specific date at a specific time for a reason, right? So when I launched the Master Your Texture classes online, I launched them on 8/11. 8 is my master life path number. 11 are numbers that speak to me at 11/11, right? So that would be the way that I create finance through those things, right? Like, so like I'm literally manifesting, this is going to create the income stream, right, that I wanted to create. So
Right.
and you mentioned earlier, you said Walt Disney you say he used numerology or had a numerology
astrologer. Yeah. That's what I that's what I heard. I looked into it. I wasn't able to find any references on that, but I heard someone else mention it. But I did find the reference to the J.P. Morgan quote about the astrologer, billionaires having astrologers.
Right.
And I also listened to a podcast about the history of astrology, which is really interesting. And it was just talking about, how it's developed over time here in America, and then how I think it was President Reagan that had an astrologer. I mean, he wasn't really interested in it himself. It was his wife that hired an astrologer, right. So, it's just little tidbits like that, that really made me interested in it. Like, maybe there is some validity to it besides me actually, getting a reading myself and or doing my own reading and being creeped out by how accurate the information is. So Astoria, you mentioned that the numerology gave you insights to your relationship to money, of how you attract money. So I want to go to your birth number, but I want to start with your life path.
Okay.
I'm going to read something else to you, and to let the people know where I'm reading from. This book is called Numbers in You by Lloyd Strayhorn. He's the teacher of King Simon. So he taught King Simon numerology. So I went to the source, and in June, I actually did his online course. It was a beginner's numerology course. Although I've been studying it on and off since about 2016. June was kind of like my refresher, the time where I jumped back into it and began studying it consistently. And I got the rest of Lloyd's books too. He has a numerology guide for the 21st century, and he has a workbook, which is pretty much the same as the course, where you can actually do exercises based on the different numbers, different types of numbers. And he has a relationship guide, for your relationship chronicles, your compatibility, your relationship with your children and your parents, and all of that. And then I also have King Simon's book, which is his unique interpretation or spin on numerology. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. So I'm reading from the chapter on, and I'm reading because I'm still new to this and I haven't memorized everything. The chapter on numerology and money. So what I've read first was a more general description of the numbers, but this is specifically about how our relationship with money.
Right.
So the number 8, money person, this description mostly talks about someone who's born on a date that adds up to the 8th. So the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th, but our life path is also influenced by this information also.
Right.
So it says number 8 people acquire money and financial success through hard work and determination. And right off bat, Astoria knows he's a hard worker. Sometimes to her detriment. She's almost sometimes an overworker at times.
Yeah.
Yep. Strangely enough, although the 8 represents money, power, and authority, those are the other descriptions that I forgot to mention. The number 8 is associated with, money, of course, but power and authority. All right. It ranks 7th place among the multimillionaires. So start your own business if you can. Think big, think success, and you're likely to do very well. Think small, and just the reverse happens. Make no bones about making money. Your birth number has dominion over material and tangible things. Don't take no for an answer. Take responsibility for your gains and losses, and you will move faster toward financial independence. You would do well to wear the best of clothes on the job or when taking interviews. It seems to help in attracting money. Yeah, and it also gives, certain months in which, you do well financially too.
I bet. I bet. I need to start paying more close attention to that, because I do pay attention to the rise and falls of different things for me around moons, eclipses, the changing seasons, our good summer solstice, fall solstice, winter solstice, things like that, and how things transform for me on like my power days and things like that. So I think by throwing that part, the numerology part in there with the finance, and I only do like a little bit, right? Like I kind of understand it to a certain extent. It's just so much. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think if I really start honing in on it, you said I was number 7 among the millionaires. I mean, that's where I'm trying to be, you know,
Right.
trying to get these coins.
Yeah, I feel you. And that's good. This is something that you can add on to the astrology. It's not like an either or,
Right.
Actually it's better to combine the two together because it gives you a fuller picture, so it's actually good to combine these sciences together and look at the bigger picture.
Right.
Yeah.
Which makes complete sense. I think part of it is just the fact that like I feel like I do a lot anyway. Like I feel like, just researching some things is already a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a lot of time and effort. And not to say that I'm, lazy and don't want to do it or anything, but when you think about how much time you put into your spiritual practices, your meditation, your self-care time, things like that, adding more things to the plate sometimes is like,
yeah, it becomes overwhelming.
did I really add this? Like literally like last night and today, I was watching videos over some things that I was interested in. And for me, I tend to watch things when or listen to things when I'm in the car. So like if I'm reading a book, normally I'm reading a book through audiobook, right? That's the way I'm doing it. Like you're doing your series right now on Never Eat Alone. I'm listening to it on audiobook. I know other people are like, I need to highlight and write through. And I used to be like that. But because I'm so consumed with so many other things, the best way for me right now is to listen to it so my brain can absorb it. And then when I actually can go back and write, I get a physical copy and I can go through and do things. Like when I was learning Reiki, I wish they had an audio book. They don't, right? So it was reading, highlighting, going back and watching because I'm a do, touch, read type of thing. I don't even know what you would call me because I do all of it. I'm, I guess, kinesthetic, whatever. That one.
Yeah, it'll be it'll be a combination of learning styles. So, right. Of course, touching would be kinesthetic, but, the fact that you're listening to what makes you auditory as well. So right. Combination of kinesthetic and auditory.
Yeah, definitely auditory when I was growing up too, like in school, because I am a person that would hear everything that was happening in class, and they'd be like, you ain't gonna read your book, you ain't gonna open your book, and I'd be like, no, I don't need to open my book. I heard what they said, and I could process the information and take the test, right? So, and I would be fine. Some things I do have to study and look at, but if it's like information like history, stuff like that, that's like, oh, okay. You said what in 1773? What? Oh, in 1921? Oh, okay. That like, yeah, so if I'm listening to it over and over again and I hear him saying it in class, I'm like, oh, okay, well, check box,
Right. Yeah, there you go. So, that might be an exercise to employ, when it comes to the numbers. There's plenty of videos and podcasts out there. Like, I'm just thinking about just Lloyd Strayhorn alone. There's, hundreds of numerologists out there and videos out there, but I just think about all of the videos that I've seen of just Lloyd and King Simon, all the videos and podcasts they've done. And you can just pick it up by listening to them doing the readings on other people. Like these guys, they would have live shows going on with people calling in, and they're doing, these quick, readings right off the top of the head. Like that's how sharp, they are, and how long they've been doing this.
Right.
So let me ask you, because we dealt with your life path, but your birth number is also, your most immediate number. So I'm curious to know, what day of the month were you born on?
What day of the month? 10.
10
equals a 1.
The 1 equals a 1. So the 1 and the 8 are actually very similar. Especially when it comes to finances.
Here's the killer part. 110. So there's that 11 again.
Oh yeah, you got the 1. Yeah. So the more ones that you have, so the increase of that number 1 just means it's increasing the energy of that number.
Exactly. So 110 and then 1987. So that's how I get my 8.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
Yup, yeah. So we didn't explain that. So your life path just pretty much means you're adding up the month, the day, and the year, and it's a uh
So let's say,
phatic system. That's what it's called. That's the official the fancy word for
right.
how you add a numerology. Use the phatic symbol, meaning
You break it
when you
down
add,
to the whole number.
yeah, you keep
Unless
on adding
it ends on like 1111 or
11 or
22
22.
or
Yeah,
4223344, something like that. Then you keep those double digit number. But like
right.
mine, when I add up 1 and 1 is 2, the 0 that's still 2, 1 is 3 plus 8 plus 3. Like when you add it like that, it equals up to like a 7 and a 1,
Yeah,
right? Which equals 8. So I wouldn't
yeah.
keep 17, I would make 8.
Right. Yeah. So some numerologists go beyond the 11 and 22 and do the 33 and the 44, while others say, no, you just 11 and 22 are the only master numbers. So it's
Right.
it's an art. It's an art to it. It's not a hard science. And also there's compound numbers too. So when you have two numbers, you could add them together and that will give you one energy, or you could leave it as a compound number and look at the two meanings of the numbers individually and how they work together. So just yeah,
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to talk a little bit more about the number one.
Gotcha.
Get some more information for you about what the number one means.
Send me all the messages on the numbers for me.
Yeah. I got you.
And if you can, in the comments, go ahead and name the name of the book, or just send it to me and I'll add it to what I already put as details for tonight, kind of sort of. I just pretty much copied what I did on IG and put it on here. So
will do. So the number one is also, associated with being dominant, with being forceful, daring, the desire to be number one, to be first. You don't like to come in second place. You're not coming to number two to anything.
I'm very competitive.
Yeah. What else do we got here? Of course, preferring to take charge of a situation. When it comes to careers, some specific ones that they mentioned here. With those characteristics, you would make an excellent manager, director, president, supervisor, head of a department. So all leadership positions here. Number one, people are straightforward when they deal with people, and they deal more with yeah, they deal with more with logic, rather than feelings and emotions. And the number one, when you talk about astrology, the number one is ruled by the sun. Look at that. Yeah, so that's some general information about the one. But when we're talking about money and how the number one person attracts money, let's see what it says here. You may regard money as a means to an end, or as a way to further your name, reputation, or position in life. Your best way of making money is by entering into fields and occupations that are new, different, and original. As your birth number suggests, authority over others, so you have the potential of making money by striking out on your own, by going into business for yourself, which Astoria is doing or has done already. It's important to be self-motivating. Depend primarily on you, and that's a YOU in capital letters.
Yes.
Develop an attitude of success. Have a clear conscience about making money, and plenty of it. Establish good credit. Borrow only through established institutions. April and August, followed by February, are the months your business or partnerships are likely to prosper. Double check co-signing notes or making loans to those born in January, May, and October.
Oh, wait.
Yep. See. Yep. So
January, May, and October. Dang, you mean? Dang. I mean, I got a whole investment group with some Januaries. We good.
Yeah, it's not saying don't.
Look at us, Januaries.
Yeah, it's not saying don't do business with them, but just make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed and everything is, yeah, you just got to be extra cautious during those months because in numerology they have what they call challenge months.
Right.
So, and
Same
those are
in
usually
astrology. Challenging. We have trying, challenging
right,
things. Yeah.
right,
That
yeah,
that that's really interesting.
right,
Super
yeah, and
interesting.
those usually are across the board. So not
Yeah.
just the finances, but those are also the months that you need to be cautious in terms of your health too, and
Right.
maybe in terms of your intimate relationships.
Right.
So
Makes sense.
yeah.
And so just to kind of bring this full circle, because
Hmm.
this is one of those nights where I'll say this is one of those conversations where it's kind of outside the box. Not everyone's there with you when it comes to numerology, and it's okay. And this is why I bring different type of people on to talk about money from different aspects, because not one way works for everyone, right? I may use a couple of different elements from a couple of different things in order for it to work together for me, as a whole. But what I do know is without me even thinking about, without me even like fully processing what you're saying, what you're telling me about my numbers, right? I know for me, when it comes to astrology, I move the same way as it speaking with as it speaks with numerology. I make the same type of moves. For example, like right now we're in retrograde, right? Mercury retrograde and a couple of other retrogrades. We won't even go into that. But it's also October, so veil is thin. Lots of energies going around. We just went to our fall solstice, right? So we're into fall. It's about to be Halloween. It'd be another full moon. Like it's a lot of stuff happening all at one time, right? So for me, this is one of those times when you don't make a lot of decisions. You just reflect on what's happening, right? And so you just said October was one of those times when I'm supposed to be doing that anyway, right? Not even thinking about the numbers, I would have done it anyway because of astrology. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, and here's the killer part. What is October? A 10, 1.
Yep. Yep. As well.
Like just simple stuff, right? So just to kind of circulate and bring this home, right? When I talk about numerology and finance, the reason why I really wanted to do this was, especially this section, is because I think a lot of people don't think about how astrology and numerology help to manifest money or help you to move into your gifts when it comes to money, because we think it's something totally different than what we think it is, or we're not willing to research and figure out how it works.
Right.
So one last question for you, Nick, before we kind of like wrap all this up, because I hate to be long winded when it comes to something, especially since it's my whole Money Monday thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the question. So now that you are working in numerology, and you are doing things financially for yourself, have you noticed other numbers besides your life path numbers, or other numbers that speak to you, and you make financial moves upon knowing that?
Yeah. Well, uh, I haven't really delved too deeply into the money part of it, but I just normally think about the numbers in a general sense. So I also have, besides the 8, I have 4s in my birthday. I'm a master number 22. So that number, I've used it more so as clarification,
Mhm.
to why I guess why I'm attracted to certain things or why I carry certain traits. But
Mhm.
I guess the number 8 and the number 4 both being associated with hard work and really just hard work. That's really the commonality between the 4 and the 8. But the 4 also deals with structure, organization. Because the four, you think about the 4, you think about like the 4 corners of a
Mhm.
square. It's the foundation. So I can combine that with with the power that the 8 carries of being an authority, being associated with money,
Mhm.
and understanding that I need to remind myself to be structured and to be organized, and to not be dull either, because the four could be associated with being dull, and to not to be misunderstood, because DJ the money coach says that financial freedom, or the journey or the path towards financial freedom is a team sport.
Right.
So I have to remind myself not to pursue it in isolation.
Right.
I have sevens. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I have sevens in my name, and sevens are associated with being alone or being in isolation. So I have to remind myself not to be a hermit, too much, and to make sure I'm connecting with people, and make sure I'm communicating clearly with people, because the number 8 and the number 4 can tend to be misunderstood, by others. So that's more of a indirect kind of way that I use the other numbers in my name, my birthday, in terms of finances.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say this. When I am pricing stuff for Reiki now, and I already have my prices, I just haven't put them on my website or whatever yet. But when I went into pricing for Reiki and classes and teaching education, when it came to that, the number that popped up immediately, and I had to ask my Reiki master, my teacher, what do you normally do? Tell she, of course, she's not gonna give you a number, but they'll be like, so here's how I justify, blah, blah, blah. Immediately, it was $77.11 for a Reiki session, right? So that's just for a Reiki session. And then when it came to teaching a class or teaching someone to do Reiki when it comes to hairstylists in my industry, it was $777. Immediately, those were the numbers. It was like, okay. So for me, that lets me know that those are the numbers that'll be most profitable for me. Remember, I was born on a Saturday, which is the 7th day. Saturn is the ruling planet of Saturday, because it's called Saturn's Day, like Saturday, right? So sevens are very powerful for me. So using those sevens, and to be quite honest, in the salon, I work in the right industry where when I work on the weekends, right? In the salon, on the weekends, I'm in the salon, and that is when I make the most impact and the most amount of money, is on those Saturdays. So it all lines up. Even when I wasn't even thinking about numbers, it all just made sense. People why you only work weekends? People always what you doing on Saturday? I'm at work. What you mean?
Right.
Saturday.
Right.
It's my money day.
Yeah. There you go. I wanted to point out a couple other things too, about your name. What's the first letter of your first name?
A.
And A is the first letter of the alphabet. So the A is associated with the number 1. So that first letter of your first name gives insights to what sets the foundation for the rest of your name. That's one. The other thing it does, it denotes your approach to life too. And since A is the first letter of your first name, it's also the first vowel in your first name too, and that also gives you some insights too. Let me see. What's the A tell you? I mean, the first vowel. I was just looking at. Yeah, the first vowel tells how you act under pressure or instinctively too. Yeah. So you got all of them. You got all of those ones. You even got ones in your name too. I haven't added up your name, and it's going to trip me out if your name adds up to a 1 too. But you got ones right in your first name.
Well, when you add it up, you let me know.
I'll do that.
We have definitely had a good little session tonight. 2 sessions really, but great session. I definitely appreciate you coming on for Money Mondays. Even though it is at the end, midweek, right? Yeah. And so we'll have you back. If you guys like the show, make sure that you subscribe to the page, to the channel. Make sure you share those things. Nick, let them know where they can find you. I think I put your Instagram I don't know if I linked it, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure out when I finish it up. But I did put your Instagram handle in here for them to connect with you, but let them know where they can find you. And also shameless plug for Seven Spheres of Money. Make sure you check out Seven Spheres of Money, djthemoneycoach.com. The links are below for you to check that out. If you want to get a financial webinar, that link is at the bottom as well. So you can get some of these tools and gems that we've talked about when it comes to finances. Yeah. All right, Nick. Let them know where they find you.
That's fast. So yeah, we go ahead and say it again because we were just talking about the visual learning and the auditory learning. So you know, the story got in descriptions for the visual, and then we're saying it for the auditory learners. So so yeah, of course I'll plug Seven Spheres of Money first. It's Seven Spheres of Money on all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Like Astoria said, the website is djthemoneycoach.com. If you want to follow my personal page on Instagram, I'm Mr. Westbrooks. My teacher name, Mr. Westbrooks. Nick Westbrooks on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Yeah, all of that. So yeah. Thank you for having me. And looking forward to definitely coming back and talking about this topic some more.
For sure. And as well, typically we would end our other show with our pom pom lifestyle, but I'm just going to ask you, how is your financial fitness, right? And so when I say, how's your financial fitness, I'm talking about, what are you doing to save money? How are you spending your money? How are you looking at money? And that is the purpose of Money Mondays, your financial fitness. Think about this as the long game, not an immediate satisfaction, right? So thanks again for tuning in, you guys. Nick, much appreciate you coming on, and we will see you guys next week on Monday for Money Mondays. Catch us on IG first, or on IG Live, but eventually just know that everything we move to YouTube channel. So peace out, you guys.